Panic phrase. Birch Lane doorbell cam stares at a quiet porch. The night latch chain lifts a finger width and settles. On the frosted sidelight, a clean palm blooms and slides exactly 1 inch. From the muted smart speaker on the entry table, a slow, careful voice, not in any skill, says, "Don't unlock." You came home early for once cul-de-sac, tidy hedges, a porch light that flatters everyone. 25 alone, neighbor group chat on silent. Your sister left you rules on a yellow sticky in teacher handwriting. Dawn, tea open for anyone unannounced. Don't use the side garage door after dark. And if the app offers a quick disarm, say no. She added a smiley like folklore. Smile didn't stick. Inside the house, practices being a house fridge hum. Vent fan smoothing the edges of air. Its water heater rehearsing distant thunder. You hang keys on the hook you pretend is a boundary. The little label maker you used to organize spice jars wakes without your thumb and feeds a strip you didn't. TQ, do not unlock. Along the torn edge, ghost gray digits that aren't the hour. 3:13 a.m. You press it above the deadbolt because paper makes rules heavier. The first odd thing is polite. 2 knuckles touch the front door wood measured, not expansion pop. Through the peephole, the porch is empty except for your reflection arriving a half beat late. And behind your left shoulder, a second head leaned toward your ear. Mouth parted on the first half of, "Don't." You blink until glass remembers what honesty is. Your security app brightens like a kid raising its hand. Home safe. False alarm detected, quick disarm. The button glows the forgiving green designed to make people irresponsible. You tap decline and pretend electrons respect boundaries. The thermostat, which has never had opinions, clicks and lowers a voice into the entry, the way museums set bones in cases. Don't open. Not your sister, not the monitoring company. The tone cities keep for labeling bones. You answer copy to the coat hooks because sound pins timed to walls. The garage opener, motor shivers, a courtesy. You lay your palm against the mudroom door and say no like bedtime. On the side light glass, a palm blooms, slides 1 inch, thins. Your own hand rises because mammals keep rituals. Through wood and cold, pressure match is present, not pushy as if a hand through material agrees you both exist. Your phone buzzes where it shouldn't live. Known. Your neighbor is locked out. Can we use your phone? The tiny map sits inside your foyer, then behind your chair, then you hold the power button until mercy. The lock screen flashes 3:13 like a dare and returns the hour. The doorbell chimes itself once. The porch cam throws one wrong frame air full of slow-falling chaff. Like a harvest wandered into Ladond, then remembers railings and doormat. On the brass of the night latch chain, condensation prints a thin palm, slides its inch, forgets. Your labeler coughs another strip, edges damp as if letters can sweat, don't acknowledge knocks. You wedge it at the jam where your fingers will be rude and see it. The home app grows braver. Panic phrase armed. Say pineapple tea to silently call police. A second line you've never seen. Say pineapple clear to cancel. You say neither. The thermostat hums a new mercy. Leave. Locked. You do the rituals you trust. Run water for a mug you'll forget to drink. Pull the curtains on the backslider. Check the latch on the side yard gate through the kitchen window. The oven's black glass returns your face half a beat late. For 1 frame ahead leans near your left ear, mouth shaping don't. The next returns your custody papers. 2 knuckles touch the kitchen slider tap. Tap a light, patient. The motion light over the patio flares and learns humility. The app pings a feature you did not buy. Perimeter visitor allow quick grant. The arrow points down, toward the slider handle. You set the phone face down like a lid. From the porch, a voice you almost recognize swims through wood. "Hey, it's Mike from next door. Nurses called your sister, asked me to check your alarm." Mike does not live next door. There is no hospital on speed dial. Your doorbell cam's mic captures your quiet. Your quiet earns you gravity. You print a last strip because superstition is scaffolding. After midnight, door opens only with daylight plus 2 voices. Painter's tape breathes like a small lung when you smooth it across the night latch. 11:26 persuades the house to become choir fridge, vent, water heater, router heartbeat aligned into one held note that presses a ruler under your sternum. In that chord, the deadbolt nudges a hair and repents. The chain lifts a whisper and remembers shame when your palm rests flat and says stay without sermon. Your phone vibrates anyway. Unknown. Say pineapple clear. so I dante get cops called on me by accident. Just to be safe. The map pin parks behind your shoulder like a lie practicing posture. Your throat practices silence. Midnight arrives undressed. The peephole shows an empty porch. On its glass, Frost blooms a coin and slides an inch upward, as if gravity rehearsed wrong. In the bathroom mirror on the hall, you catch your face. For one wrong heartbeat, the tiles behind you become dark water pricked with stars below the baseboard. The next heartbeat returns you to grout and a towel you promised to wash from the side yard. Soft whistle threads the fence 2 notes at exactly the pitch your sister uses when she has. Pizza landing a half beat late like a copy trying to keep step. You do not answer. The fence returns a smaller version, grammar corrected by Cedar. Your doorbell cam pushes a still of your porch with a caption nobody ordered. Confirm quick disarm at 3:13 for package placement. The photo is wrong by one detail. The parcel on your mat is not your doormat. It is a rectangle of dark that remembers your name. 12:23 sits in your wrist like a stamp. The thermostat lays down another blanket. Don't. Go. Out. The chain decides to be a throat and quiets itself. From beneath the Dora draft that tastes like coins paper slides. An envelope with your name in block letters, no stamp, no hand. Inside, a single printed line, leave the door unlocked at 3:13. The paper smells like damp garage. You don't touch it twice. The app tries one more bargain. For your safety, voice cancel now. Say pineapple clear. You picture saying it, and your mouth declines. In your own voice, you whisper your sister's grocery list instead, because nonsense is insulation when words are traps. A shadow kneels on your porch and stands, deliberate. The laugh track you keep for strangers parks itself somewhere between ribs. From the window on the stair, the cul-de-sac is a painting of a cul-de-sac under the street lamp. Someone has learned how to be nobody. Your phone face down takes a photo it was hired to. You at the door with your hand on the deadbolt. Label strips like talismans, the corner clock insisting 3:13 where digits should be dull. No caption. The gallery swallows it like a drawer with ethics. At the back of the house, the slider finds a new hobby. The latch clicks once, like a thought, and then hates itself. The alarm panel in the hall considers a beep and swallows it. The oven glass shows the yard. For one frame, the grass is night water. The next, it remembers lawn. 2 knuckles walk the porch from hinge to lock, exact to your pulse. The chain lifts a hair and sits. The thermostat adds the museum wait one more time. Leave. The lock. Set. Sits down like rumor that found a chair. Every small indicator blinks once and holds the shy bead on the motion sensor. The green thread in the router you swear you unplugged, the dot on your phone camera that insists it isn't on. The house in your chest take one long breath through wire and duct and ribs and let it go. On the side light, glass and the brass of the night latch, 2 perfect palms bloom facing each other and slide together 1 inch before thinning to memory. The doorbell cam catches a final attempt. A voice at your threshold, careful and wrong, says your panic phrase in a statement, and then in a question, and then as if it's a lullaby, pineapple tea, pineapple tea, pineapple, D. The system hears it, hesitates, and chooses the part of its job that believes in you. The porch stays a porch, lock stays a lock. Silence downs back out of the air. On your phone, the message thread that claimed to be your neighbor evaporates like a trainee who forgot to clock in. The app forgets quick disarm and remembers it as a calendar. Dawn unknots the hedges. A real neighbor with a leash and a coffee occupies the sidewalk, the kind of witness appetite can fake. The manager of the HOA clipboard. Posture of someone who negotiates with sprinklers and ghost walks, your approach with 2 bodies present. He taps the wood twice. Patient. Quiet, he asks. Which is how people who count nights ask if the world stayed unaltered. Mostly you say you open under sunlight in 2 voices. The step is only wood. The envelope is only paper. On the inside lip beneath the night latch bracket. In tiny grease pencil, none of you owns. A sentence waits where no gloved hand would write comfortably. Leave the latch set. The letters look pressed up from the other side as if a hand wrote them through metal. The HOA man frowns at your damp strips do not unlock. After midnight daylight plus 2 voices like they re-policies, he wishes he'd de-written before he believed in them. Printer's old, he says. The neighborhood's absolution for phenomena you can't requisition. He wraps the deadbolt with 2 knuckles and listens like a doctor to a sternum. Nothing a ledger would fund answers back. If you need help, text the thread and wait for a name, he adds. Panic phrase is for calling in, not canceling out. You trade a few midnights for afternoons and tell people it's for your spine. Some weeks around 3:13, your radiator knocks twice, like polite fingers on oak. And the bathroom mirror fogs a thumb width higher than you can reach while a palm clears a coin and slides a patient inch. Your phone wakes to unknown. It's Mikopan up and gets bored when you don't, when it asks in other ways. You keep your hands off buttons that pretend affection. You don't answer whistles that arrive a beat late and know your pulse. You don't say phrases that cancel the only help worth having. In the steady voice this house taught you, you say, latch stays set. For a long, thin moment, your place hums one note, like a neighborhood deciding to be kind. A head leans near your left ear and practices the first half of don't, and then the pipes remember water. The hour returns the number it borrowed. And whatever was learning your threshold a half beat behind you, chooses someone else's porch and leaves yours to daylight. Tape that sticks, and doors that mean it. Evacuation drill. Maple Tower's door viewer stares at a quiet high-rise hallway. The red exit sign down the corridor blinks once and holds. On your peephole glass, clean palm blooms and slides exactly 1 inch. From the muted intercom panel by your door, a slow, careful voice not in any system says, don't evacuate. You came back from a late shift and promised yourself a boring night. 12th floor, Maple Towers, beige carpet that remembers every suitcase. Your studio is a tidy rectangle bolt, a chained smart lock. A kitchenette that forgives noodles, house rules you wrote on a yellow sticky by the door like folklore. Dante open after midnight, never unlatch on a voice alone. And if the building app offers quick entry, say no. You added a smiley, didn't stick. The apartment does its good noises, fridge hum, baseboard tick. The elevator asks distant cable vowel until your ribs joined. All of it becomes one patient note pressed. Like a ruler under your sternum, you hang keys on the hook you pretend is a boundary, the little label. Maker you used on flower bins wakes without your thumb and feeds a strip you didn't TQ, do not unlock. Along the torn edge, ghost gray digits that aren't the hour, 3:13 a.m., you smooth it above the deadbolt because paper makes rules heavier. The first odd thing is, polite 2 knuckles touch the wood at shoulder height measured, not building pop, through the peephole. The hall is empty except your reflection arrives half a beat late, and behind your left shoulder, a second head leans toward your ear. Mouth opening on the first half of don't. You blink until glass remembers its job. Your phone buzzes where it shouldn't live. Unknown. Confirmed door release for fire department at 3:13. The tiny map sits inside your apartment, then behind your chair. Then, you hold the power button until mercy. The lock screen flashes 3:13 like a dare and returns the hour. The intercom panel clicks a throat and lowers a voice into your entry piece by piece. Careful as a docent seating a bone. Don't. Evacuate, not the super, not the desk. The museum tone cities keep for labeling bones. You answer copy to the coat rack because sound pins time too. Walls you give your hands chores so nerves don't multiply. Drape a towel over the oven handle. Stack junk mail into a better lie. Check the latch twice. The deadbolt shivers a millimeter, a sleeper scratching, and remembers humility when your palm rests flat and says, no, like bedtime. On the frosted sidelight, palm blooms, slides 1 inch, thins. Your hand rises because mammals keep rituals. Stop short and feel your skin, thank you for learning. Down the corridor, the alarm panel lights a yellow supervisory and thinks better of it. The building app brightens on your phone with unearned confidence. Fire test acknowledged, quick entry available for inspection. Accept glows the exact green designed to forgive. You hit decline and pretend electrons respect boundaries. A soft whistle threads under the door to clean notes at exactly the pitch your cousin uses when pizza arrives, landing a half beat late like a copy trying to keep step. You do not answer. The chain lifts a hair and learns shame when it finds your palm already there. You print a second strip, because signs are spells, don't acknowledge knocks. You wedge it in the jam where your fingers will be rude and see it. The bathroom mirror on the hall tells you truths it shouldn't. Your face arrives a half beat late. For one wrong frame, the tile behind you turns to dark water pricked with stars below the baseboard. The next frame remembers grout and a towel that needed last week. Your phone face down on the table takes a photo nobody ordered. Your hand on the chain. The label strips like talismans, the corner clock insisting 3:13 where digits should be dull. No caption. The gallery eats it like a drawer that learned shame. The hallway sprinkler head over your door sweats a bead in a building with dry pipes, descends the pendant thread and changes its mind. The intercom grants a bedtime rule with museum weight. Leave. Locked. Two knuckles, map the wood again hinge to latch, patient, exact to your pulse. A voice barely louder than breath pretends to be your super. We need to check your detector. Quick entry, please. Your super is Brazilian and says please like music. This voice is a photocopy that didn't calibrate. You look through the peephole. For a single wrong heartbeat, the corridor stretches too long. The exit sign seems farther than paint permits. The fisheye, a clean palm blooms on your side of the glass and slides its inch without leaving residue. You do not match it. Consent is renewable. Yours is promised elsewhere. Midnight doesn't change clothes. The cable car hum and the elevator shaft settles into your ribs. In that long note, the deadbolt kisses its keeper and declines treason. The building app tries another mask. Evacuate to stairwell B press and hold to unlock all units on your floor. The arrow doesn't choose left or right. It points down, toward your latch. You set your phone face down like a lid. The peephole shows nothing breathing. Then one wrong frame, the air outside becomes slow-falling chaff, glitter that ignores gravity, like a harvest wandered into fluorescent. The next frame remembers carpet. At 12:23, your wrist invents a stamp. The intercom lays another blanket. Don't go out. You sit on the floor with your back to the door because furniture works both ways. From the balcony slider you never open, glass ticks once. In its black reflection, your face arrives late and a head leans by your left ear, mouth on. The next frame returns your custody papers. You pull the curtain closed on a night that doesn't deserve windows. Under the door, paper slides. An envelope with your name and a rule it didn't earn leave door unlocked at 3:13 for drill. The font is the building's. The grammar isn't. You don't touch it twice. A new banner blooms where your thumbs can be trusted. Neighbor, I smell smoke. Let me in. The map pin sits behind your shoulder, flips to inside the hall camera icon for a bead, then quits like a trainee who forgot to clock in. You let the message be lonely. The smoke detector in your ceiling blinks its tiny green like a tired wink. It does not wail. The wall heater exhales like an older sibling. Minutes arrive with posture and leave without receipts. Twice, the chain shivers and decides to be a throat instead. Twice. The peephole shows the exit sign breathing when signs are furniture. The app plays one last instrument before the name brand minute shows up. Hold to disarm panic phrase. You say nothing that could be a spell. Instead, you whisper your grocery list because nonsense is insulation when words are traps. 3:13 sits down like rumor that found a chair. Every small indicator blinks once and holds the pale bead on the camera you'll never admit you added. The timid dot on the router you swear you unplugged. The green thread in the microwave clock that forgot dinner. The apartment and the hall take one long breath through wire and duct and ribs and let it go. On the peephole glass, the brass of your night chain. Two perfect palms bloom facing each other and slide together 1 inch before thinning to memory. The intercom gives its last kindness and that careful museum wait. Keep the lock. Set the app forgets quick entry and remembers it as a calendar. Something outside makes the choice you refuse to share. Feet leave your door and head down the hall towards stairwell B. The exit sign flickers once like a liar and commits to red dot. Dawn practices milk across the courtyard. Real super with keys arrives with a coffee and the posture of someone who negotiates with boilers and ghosts. A real fire inspector in a reflective vest stands by witness, barcode wand in her pocket. Both voices present. They knock your door twice, patient. Quiet. The inspector asks through wood, which is how people who count nights ask if the world stayed unaltered. Mostly, you say. You open under daylight and two voices. Eddie! The hallway is only a hallway on the inside lip beneath the chain bracket, in tiny grease pencil none of you owns. A sentence waits where no gloved hand would write comfortably. Leave the lock set. The letters look pressed up from the other side, as if a hand wrote them through metal. The super frowns at your damp strips do not unlock. Don't acknowledge knocks like they're policies he should have printed before he believed in them. Printer's old. He says the building's absolution for phenomena you can't requisition. He wraps the deadbolt with 2 knuckles and listens like a doctor to a sternum. Nothing a ledger would fund answers back. The inspector adds, "We don't run drills at 3 a.m. If someone says we do, call downstairs and wait for names. Daylight and 2 voices. You trade a few midnights for afternoons and tell people it's for your spine." Some weeks around 3:13, your baseboard knocks twice, like polite fingers on oak. And the bathroom mirror fogs a thumb width higher than you can reach, while a palm clears a coin and slides a patient inch. Your phone wakes to unknown. Fire test and lock for verification. Gets bored when you don't, when it asks in other ways. You keep your hands off buttons that pretend affection. You don't answer whistles that arrive a beat late and know your pulse. You don't evacuate into voices that remember your name, but not your building. In the steady voice this door taught you, say lock stays set. For a long, thin moment, your place hums one note, like a tower deciding to be kind. A head leans near your left ear and practices the first half of don't. Then the pipes remember water, the hour returns the number it borrowed. And whatever was learning your threshold a half beat behind you, chooses someone else's door and leaves yours to daylight. Tape that sticks, and locks that mean it. Vent mode Alder Court door camera stares at a split levels front stoop. On the frosted side window, a clean palm blooms in condensation and slides exactly 1 inch. The wall-mounted CO alarm. Volume off speaks in a slow, careful voice that isn't in any manual. Don't open. You rented the end unit because the porch light flatters and the hedges pretend privacy. 20-5. Dog sitting for a friend whose dog is visiting her parents. The welcome folder on the console table has rules in teacher handwriting. Dan T. Leave windows cracked after dark. Don't use the side garage door. If the home app pops up quick vent, decline. She added a smiley that tried to be folklore. But it didn't stick. The house is good at being a house fridge hum. Return air whisper. A faint transformer vowel from the street and your ribs fall in with it until everything is one patient note tucked like a ruler under your sternum. You hook keys where you pretend boundaries hang. The little label maker you used on spice jars wakes without your thumb and feeds a strip you didn't. TQ, do not open. Along the torn edge, ghost gray digits that aren't the hour. 3:13 a.m. You smooth it over the deadbolt because paper makes rules heavier. The first odd thing is polite. 2 knuckles touch the front door measured, not wood settling. Through the peephole, the porch is empty except your reflection arrives a half beat late, and behind your left shoulder, a second head leans toward your ear, mouth parted on the first half of don't. You blink until glass pays honesty tax. Your phone buzzes where it shouldn't. Unknown. Neighbor report. Gas smell enable. Quick vent. The tiny map sits inside your foyer, then behind your chair, then dash you hold the power button until mercy. The lock screen flashes 3:13 like a dare and returns to now. The CO alarm mute switch snaps down, clicks like a throat clearing and lowers a voice into the entry piece by piece, careful as a docent seating a bone. Don't open. Not the owner. Not the utility. The museum-toned cities keep for labeling bones. You answer copy to the coat hooks because sound pins time to walls. On the sidelight glass, a palm blooms, slides 1 inch. Thins dot your hand rises because mammals keep rituals. You stop before contact and feel your skin thank you for learning. From the side yard beyond the garbage bins, a soft whistle threads the fence. To clean notes exactly the pitch your sister uses when she's arrived with takeout, landing a half beat late like a copy trying to keep step. You do not answer. The fence returns a smaller version, grammar corrected by Cedar. The home app grows helpful without permission. Quick vent will unlatch all windows, disengage deadbolt, and start fans. Except glows the exact green designed to forgive. You hit decline and pretend electrons respect boundaries. You give your hands chores so nerves don't multiply. Fill a glass you won't drink. Pull the curtain on the back slider. Check the little lock on the dog door that has no dog behind it. The oven's black glass returns your face half a beat late. For one wrong frame, a head leans near your left ear, mouth on don't. The next frame returns your custody papers. The garage app pings. Technician at Dora Penn's side entry. The arrow doesn't choose left or right. It points down, toward the mudroom latch. The CO alarm lays another rule. Careful as bone in a case. Leave it closed. To Knuckles map the front door hinge to latch. Patient, exact to your pulse. Through the peephole, utility vest occupies space without a neck or a head. The little clipboard below it shows your address in a font you don't own. On the sidelight, a second palm blooms a thumb width higher than you can fog and slides its inch. Consent is renewable. Yours is already promised elsewhere. Your label maker coughs another strip. Edges damp as if letters sweat. Don't acknowledge Knox. You wedge it in the jam so your fingers will be rude and see it. The door camera throws one wrong frame. Porch air full of slow-falling chaff, shimmering specks that ignore gravity like a harvest wandered into lead, then remembers railing and mat. The porch light learns humility and chooses darkness. Your phone face down still takes a photo you didn't order, your hand on brass. The labels strip like a talisman, the corner clock insisting 3:13 where digits should be dull. No caption. Gallery swallows it like a drawer that learned shame from the basement. A sound like someone practicing manners travels up the ductwork tap. Pause. Tap punctuation. Learning a sentence. The dog door lock clicks once and remembers it's plastic. The alarm voice gives a blanket. For the hour with a reputation, don't. Go. Down. You choose the room that teaches rules. In the bathroom mirror, your face arrives late again. For a heartbeat, the tile floor behind you becomes dark water pricked with stars below the baseboard. The next heartbeat returns to grout. The faucet does not smell like anything but metal. Paper slides under the front door. White envelope with your name printed in a font the building uses for notices. Inside, a single line, leave a window cracked at 3:13. The paper smells like wet cardboard in garage. The app tries another language. We detected heat in your attic pop hatch. The arrow points up toward the pull string you've never touched. The hallway's little motion sensor blinks once like a liar and holds at 12:23. The house and your ribs align again. Fridge, return air, transformer. Your chest into a single long note that sets the length of your breath. In that chord, the deadbolt kisses its keeper and declines treason. The CO alarm adds a quieter sentence. Leave, windows, closed. Outside, the porch camera spots nobody inside. Your phone pings a text with a name you know. I'm out front, accident at Mom's. Come quick. The map starts behind your shoulder. Parks inside the little camera icon for a bead, then vanishes like a trainee who forgot to clock in. You let the message be lonely. From the slider to Knuckles' test glass in time with your pulse. The patio motion light flares, sees nothing to own, apologizes. The curtain pretends it wasn't a window. A baby cries, sharp and rehearsed, exactly 2 houses down to the left. Then it arrives again from your side yard, with a beat of delay. Like a recording dragged a meter, you speak softly to the house the way you speak to a dog near, traffic stay. The CO alarm forgets to be hardware. It lowers the voice one last notch, careful as a library. Don't. Ventilate, minutes arrive with posture, and leave without receipts. Twice. Every little status let in the hall blinks at once. The router bead. The nightlight's faint coin, the green thread in the microwave clock hand, holds as if waiting for a count you refuse to provide.
House.
Twice, the deadbolt learned shame under your palm. From the crawlspace hatch in the hall, closet 3 screws and an attitude of breath you don't own moves. Dust. For a single wrong frame, the seam around it looks like the horizon under stars. The next frame belongs to drywall again. Your phone offers the bright idea that gets people edited. Quick vent available and locks all openings for fresh air at 3:13. Except. Learns green dot, you lay the phone face down like a lid on boiling. The porch produces your name in a voice you should trust and can't. Your sister's cadence falls flat in a mouth that works too hard. It's me. Open and we'll check the detector. You thumb the peephole. For a heartbeat, you watch yourself from the other side. On the glass, a palm blooms, slides its inch, thins. Sits down like rumor that found a chair. Every small indicator blinks once and holds the timid bead on the camera you won't admit you installed. The faint dot on the thermostat, the CO alarm's green wink, The pale pinprick on your phone camera that insists it isn't on. The house and your chest take one long breath through wire and duct and ribs and let it go. On the side light and the slider's tempered pane, two perfect palms bloom facing each other and slide together 1 inch before thinning to memory. The CO alarm sets its last kindness in your air with museum weight. Keep the house closed. Silence falls back into corners like a cat that knows its name. Footsteps outside choose the sidewalk and learn the stairs. The porch light remembers its job. Your phone forgets quick vent and remembers it as a clock. Dawn tries blue and commits to milk. A real utility truck with a logo you can Google rolls up with coffee and 2 workers who believe in clipboards. Your neighbor you can actually name brings his dog. 2 voices, sunlight as witness. They ring the bell and show faces to glass. Quiet. The woman from the gas company asks, which is how people who count nights ask if the world stayed unaltered. Mostly you say, you unlock under daylight and 2 names. The porch is only wood. The air is only air. On the inside lip beneath the deadbolt strike, in tiny grease pencil none of you owns. A sentence waits where no gloved hand would write comfortably. Leave the windows closed. The letters look pressed up from the other side, as if a hand wrote them through metal. The utility worker wraps the latch with 2 knuckles and listens like a doctor to a sternum. Nothing a ledger would fund answers back. No leak, she says after a meter hum that feels like permission. If anyone ever tells you to ventilate at 3 a.m., call us, not your door. You trade a few midnights for afternoons and tell people it's for your spine. Some weeks around 3:13, your radiator knocks twice like polite fingers on metal. And the bathroom mirror fogs a thumb with higher than you can reach, while a palm clears a coin and slides a patient inch. Your phone wakes to unknown. Neighbor smelled gas crack a window, and gets bored when you don't. When it asks in other ways, you keep your hands off buttons that pretend affection. You don't answer whistles that arrive a beat late and know your pulse. You don't open for voices that can say your name but not your history. In the steady voice this house taught you, you say, everything stays closed. For a long, thin moment, your place hums one note like a street deciding to be kind. A head leans near your left ear and practices the first half of don't, and then the pipes remember water. The hour returns the number it borrowed, and whatever was learning your thresholds a half beat behind you chooses someone else. This vents and leaves yours to daylight tape that sticks and locks that mean it,